This program is brought to you by Emory University.
I'm going to try to give you a bit of a backstory, the kind of behind the scenes of how this all came about. I went to pick up the papers in December of 2007. Naomi Nelson and Susan McDonald, two of my supervisors in Marvel, pegged me to go out there. So I got on a plane, flew to Berkeley, went to her house, which let me tell you is a bit of an odd experience because you are invading their space. It's their things, and you start rummaging through their things. I went to the basement where I was greeted by her two dogs, Miles and Marley, who spent 2 days with me downstairs as I packed up the material. She has a room down there that's attached to her office that has file cabinets that line the walls. There's probably about 30 of them, 30, 40, and they're all stuffed full of material from her life. And I started going through those and started to pack up boxes. One of the first things I found was this letter, which is really a fabulous thing to find. It's a letter by Gloria Steinem, who was one of her dear friends, still is. She wrote it after first reading of the draft of The Color Purple. She wrote it on a plane. She writes, "I am on the plane with Joanne coming back from Salt Lake City and a lot of brave, rebellious Mormon women. And more important than any of that, I just finished reading The Color Purple. Alice, it is wonderful. I mean, full of wonder. You bring people straight off the page. I believe you are a medium, but only a complicated magical medium, and bring forth complicated magical people." So this literally, I'm not making this up, this literally was one of the first things that I saw and piqued my interest. Other things that were in among those papers is an early passport. This is when she was a student at Spelman. She was about 19 there. Drafts of The Color Purple, early drafts, some handwritten. This was the first submission. Note it says original, return to Alice. We have her jeans and t-shirts from rallies that she would attend. So what you see her wearing there is in the archives. She gave us everything. It's one of the most complete archives I've ever worked with. I mean, we literally have it all. She said, take it. I also found this scrap of paper. Just happened to find it attached to something. But it's the scrap of paper that has become really valuable to us as archivists. Dr. Bird has used this. What it reads is, people are known by the records they keep. If it isn't in the records, it will be said it didn't happen. That is what history is, a keeping of records. Just a scrap of piece of paper that just happens to be in there. So I packed up 125 boxes of material, is what we ended up with. Shipped it all back to Emory. And then I hired graduate student assistants. We work with students in the graduate school here at Emory because they have expertise that archivists may not necessarily have. So I worked with two students from the ILA, one of which was writing a chapter in her dissertation on Alice Walker. So she became the expert in Alice Walker's writings. By the end of organizing the collection, she was able to take a scrap of paper, one piece of paper that had a poem or had a bit from a novel, and tell us what novel it was from. That was the level to which she was absorbed into this project. So we worked to arrange the material, to repackage it essentially into acid-free folders and boxes so that we'd be sure it'd be around 100 years from now and not just deteriorate. And then we created a guide to the collection. This is the guide to the Alice Walker papers. It is 190 pages long, 191 actually. And this is everything that's in the collection. It's available upstairs. It's also available online if you want to take a look at it. So it's searchable and you can see everything that she gave us. Let's see. Some of the things that you'll find actually in the exhibit out there that are also upstairs. She wrote poetry on Post-it notes. We have the first drafts of some of her poems. We have a scrapbook that she created when she was only 15 years old, with pictures of her friends and comments. That is the earliest photograph we have of her on the right. She is Rarely do we find that in literary collections. Photographs used to be hard to follow. And then ephemera from other parts of her life. This is from the filming of The Color Purple. So you'll recognize some of the people there. I hope I'm not too biased when I say that this is the best collection I think that we have.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.